The first thing that struck me on my recent mission trip to Cuba was the vitality of the Methodist churches. I had read that the Holy Spirit was active in the churches there, but to see the glow in the faces and the eyes of the Cuban Methodists is to understand that they have something very special going on. The Methodist Church in Cuba is in revival. They have many young pastors who are leading dynamic worship. We've met dozens of pastors who felt God's call to leave careers as doctors, engineers, and state officials. Now they feed God's sheep and tend His flocks. This is Pastor Blanca Nieve Peña. Her church, Cabezo, just added 40 new members to the 8 they already had. That's 500% growth overnight. Cabezo is located in the countryside with no village nearby. Blanca Nieve glows as she says the people seem to have just come out of the woodwork to find her. The simple answer to why the Methodist Church in Cuba is growing so quickly is that prayers are being answered. People pray for healing and cancer cells disappear. So does leukemia, arthritis, paralysis, even flat feet. But it's not just individuals that are being healed. The whole community is being healed. The eastern part of Cuba has been suffering from a 3-year drought that is the worst they've had in 40 years. Reservoirs dropped to a mere 10% of capacity. Wells dried up. Running water became just a memory. The drought destroyed farms, causing desperate hardship to the people of Cuba who rely on local crops to feed their families. The churches prayed and fasted for rain, and the townspeople scoffed until the rains began to fall. Pastor Yamilka's church is in Fray Benito.
And the church came together to pray, and God sent rain, and the neighborhood understood that the rain has been an answer for our time of praying together and fasting for that. The church prayed and God sent the miracle. Then they say, God is alive, God is real, God answers the prayers of His people.
Eastern Cuba got about 6 inches of rain during the first week of October 2005, the week we were there. During the rest of the month, they got another 10 inches. The rivers are flowing again, the reservoirs are filling, and the people are flooding into the churches to be a part of God's healing miracle. Just like their prayers for rain, Cuban Methodists are on their knees praying for a connection with outside Christians. They pray that their spiritual isolation will be broken, their spiritual drought ended, and their spiritual thirst quenched by the living waters of Christian fellowship. In 1997, the Cuban Methodist Church and the Methodist Church in Florida entered into a covenant relationship with each other and with God. The covenant gives structure to this relationship by matching districts in Florida with districts in Cuba. God surrounds the relationship between the two churches and calls for people on both sides to work together for the mutual benefit of all. Baril is a member of the church in San German.
Today that is a covenant, something that we pledge to do, to work for God and make friendship and relationship with other countries, brothers and sisters from afar, as well as those from near. That's what I know.
In response to this call, our district, in partnership with our sister districts in Cuba, is putting together a plan that will connect all of our people for the benefit of all. In the coming months, you'll hear more stories about the revival of the Methodist Church in Cuba, and you'll hear more about ways in which you can get involved in the covenant. Won't you help to break this spiritual isolation and reach out to your neighbor in his time of need?